Have you ever been through a season of life where it feels like you're trying to make really tough decisions, and you want God to hold your hand through the process? You want him to guide you. Maybe these decisions, there are elements of the decision that are totally out of your control, and there are things that you just can't know and you have no way of knowing, and you need God's wisdom, you need his guidance. And it can just feel like sometimes God's really distant from you. You're like, God, where are you? I'm trying to work this out, and it feels like God's voice is distant, and it feels like he's distant. Well, I wanted to encourage you today for a journey that we've been on as a family recently. And we've been through a season a bit like this, trying to make some tough decisions, trying to kind of navigate in the dark. And I want to share a story of my little boy first learning to ride his pedal bike. So we started off with a balance bike. A balance bike is a small bike for kids. Instead of having stabilizers on the back, they kind of use their feet to push themselves along and kind of get a feel for balance. Eventually it comes to that point where you take your kid to a park or somewhere with lots of space, and you kind of get them going fast enough and then let go, and you've got that first let go moment. And you know after that they're out of your hands. It could go wrong, they could make a mistake, they could fall off their bike. But what's amazing about it, that experience, is when you see them riding and you see them going independently, the satisfaction, the joy, the accomplishment they have, is just amazing. And my little boy just loves to ride his bike now. You know, he just wants to ride it all the time, and it's only because he took that first step. He took that step of independence. But what's really cool is, as a parent, you run along behind them. You're there to catch them. If something goes wrong, you're still close by. And I believe it's like this with God. He wants us to become independent. He wants us to grow up, to make good, wise decisions, and to learn to discern ourselves. He wants us to learn to kind of tune into his will through our knowledge of him, because we get to know him so well, and we begin to assume more and more of his image. The Bible says we're made in the image of God, the image and likeness. We bear his image, and as we grow closer to him in relationship, and we become more like him, and our decisions begin to naturally align with his decisions. And he says to us, you know what? I was with you every step of the way. I was running behind you. I was closer than you realise. And I always knew you'd make the right decision. He holds us through it. He supports us. If we're seeking his wisdom, if we're seeking his guidance, and it feels like he's not telling us specifically what to do, it's because he's saying, make decisions. I trust you to do this. I know you'll make the right decision. I'm still close by. I'm right behind you. I'm not going to let you fall. I'm not going to let you falter. Don't think just because you don't hear me, don't think that I'm not nearby. Don't think that I've abandoned you. I just want you to grow up, to make strong decisions, because you're made in my image. You have wisdom, you have gifts, you're able to discern. So I just think this is a huge thing. It's learning to trust the work that God's doing in us. It's all very well that we learn to trust God. That's so important. But also we've got to learn to trust what God's doing in us. We've got to learn to trust how he's built us. We've got to learn to trust the faculties of wisdom and rational decision making that he's given us, and trust that he's right behind us. Every decision we make, if he's giving us freedom and saying, go, ride your bike, be independent, be free, just stay close to him in relationship, and delight that we have a God who doesn't abandon us. He stays close, yet he gives us freedom and he gives us independence, because God delights in accomplishing his will through our free choices, through our freedom, through our autonomy. And I just believe it's all the more glorifying to God and all the more satisfying when we learn to walk with him in this way. So whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever season of life you're going through, if it's similar to us where you're kind of praying for wisdom and praying for guidance, I pray for you that you would know his blessing, you'd know his proximity and his presence, you'd know his guidance, and you'd also be able to trust the things that God's invested in you. You'd be able to trust the mind and the brain and the spirit and the decision making that God's already gifted you to do. So yeah, take care, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. God bless. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.